I'm Ottisa Riggs, and I'm doing a persuasive speech on abolishing the death penalty. I picked the specific topic for a take a stand paper I did last quarter for my English class. I picked the death penalty because I'm strongly against it, and I would like to share some facts from my research with everyone to why it should be abolished. So first, how many of you are in favor and how many of you are against capital punishment? The death penalty is a process of execution of a person by the state as a form of punishment for a crime. Well, some support this form of punishment, saying that the criminals receive what is due to them, making them pay a price that is equal to the harm they've done. Others call it degrading and cruel punishment. There are many reasons death penalty should be abolished. Some facts stated by the death penalty sheet is executions are carried out at staggering costs to taxpayers. There is no credible evidence, and it deters crime. Innocent people have been executed, and it's applied at random race, which plays a role in determining who lives and dies. And life without parole is an alternative. It is a complex issue and is difficult to point to any single fact is the most important. As I read the statistics and studied the situation, I decided to focus on the three main points: that the death penalty is not a deterrent to crime, provides constant cost to taxpayers, and a chance of error. I'm going to begin deterrence, which is a principle or objective of sentencing a person guilty of a crime, which assures that the punishment is sufficient to deter the guilty person and others from committing the same crime. Theory of deterrence is that fear of punishment will cause potential wrongdoers to act within the parameters of the law. According to a survey of the former and present presidents of the country's top academic criminological societies, 88% of these experts rejected the notion that the death penalty acts as a deterrent to murder. Raylan and Laylock, 2009. A report by the National Research Council stated that studies claiming that the death penalty has a deterrent effect on murder rates are fundamentally flawed and should not be used when making policy decisions. 2012. Consistent with previous years, the 2011 FBI Uniform Crime Report showed that the South had the highest murder rate. The crime report showed that the South had the highest murder rate. The Northeast, which has less than 1% of all executions, had the lowest murder rate. Moreover, states without the death penalty have much lower murder rates. The importance of the deterrent justification for capital punishment has declined in recent years among the general public. The decline in support for the deterrence hypothesis is a consequence of empirical research by criminologists. Thorsten Selin, one of the researchers, has examined the possibility that the death penalty has a greater deterrent effect on homicide rates than does long-term imprisonment. Another unknown fact by the general population is the financial cost of the death penalty. Estimates are that it costs taxpayers 7 times more money to persuade death penalty cases than it would to try, convict, persuade, all appeals, and keep the perpetrator in prison for the rest of his life. Enforcing the death penalty costs Florida $51 million a year above what it would cost to punish all first-degree murders with life in prison without parole. Based on the 44 executions Florida had carried out since 1976, which amounts to a cost of $24 million for each execution. Palm Beach Post, January 4, 2000. In Texas, a death penalty case costs an average of $2.3 million, about 3 times the cost of imprisoning someone in a single cell at highest security level for 40 years. From the Dallas Morning News, March 8, 1992. A 2011 study revealed that California has spent more than $4 billion on capital punishment since reinstated in 1978, and that the death penalty has trials 20 times more than trials seeking the sentence of life in prison without parole. The study considered pretrial and trial costs, cost of medical appeals and state corpus petitions, cost of extra investigators, attorneys, jury proceedings, extra procedurals, and cost of incarceration on death row. People do not understand these facts, but these are among the staggering costs. Finally, there's the question of making a mistake. With the development of DNA evidence that is considered more than 99% reliable, programs like the Innocence Program have shown that more than 200 inmates have been falsely convicted for crimes they did not commit. And that includes 15 defendants who were sentenced to death. Of course, in many ways that can be turned into an argument in favor of future death penalty sentencing, which DNA evidence would be used to obtain the convictions. Nonetheless, increasingly people have been questioning the death penalty because of the inability to correct mistakes. The largest numbers of false convictions are based on incorrect eyewitness identifications. Thomas, 2008. Others happen for various reasons based on false confessions by the defendants or unreasonable appeals to jurors' emotions. So an increasing number of people are concluded that many or all of us, for the reasons have been presented here, it is unworthy for the enlightened society to involve itself in killing of criminal defendants. Martin, 2008. From this insight, there are many reasons the death penalty should be abolished, including facts that it costs taxpayers far more to execute a person than to keep him in prison for life. Scientific studies have consistently failed to demonstrate that executions deter people from committing crime any more than long-term prison sentences. And the wrongful execution of an innocent person is a justice that can never be rectified. This error is simply appalling and completely unacceptable when we are talking about life and death. Although about 60% of the general population continues to voice support for the death penalty, more and more of those required to oppose it are withdrawing their support. That includes prosecutors, juries, judges, and prison officials. Moreover, this withdrawal of support is medical doctors who are increasingly seeing the participation in death penalty as a violation of the Hippocratic Oath, Newsweek 2007. Even though the death penalty is practiced in 33 states, there are 17 that do not. The death penalty is a matter of controversy, but without your support for capital punishment, we can increase the number in states to ban it.